There's a lot of great TV out there. Then there are these shows.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is your captain and friend. I'd like to welcome you on Jackpot Airlines Flight 1610, service to Lost Wages.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst TV shows of 2018 so far. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the absolute worst shows to air in the first half of 2018.
Sorry, Serena.
It's fine, honestly. I'll have another job in like 2 minutes.
Number 10, Take Two.
I'm Detective McNair. I'm here to take you home.
Did we really need another police procedural? ABC certainly seems to think so, and the results are about as dire as you'd expect.
Uh-oh.
Nice to see you too, Eddie.
Take Two comes from married couple Terry Etta Miller and Andrew W. Marlowe, the creator of Castle. While that sounds promising, Take Two isn't nearly as good or even as passably entertaining as its predecessor, despite their readily apparent similarities.
This is bad. This is really bad.
The cliched plot is yet another variation on the police procedural you've seen 1,000 times, and the juvenile jokes often miss their broad mark. Take Two is nothing but derivative summer network television.
Why do you immediately assume the worst of people?
Saves time.
Number 9, Life Sentence.
I love cake and it's my funeral. My living funeral. I'm dying.
Life Sentence has an intriguing premise. It follows Stella, a cancer survivor who now must deal with the consequences of her carefree, cancer-driven decisions. At the same time, her family must cope with the sacrifices they made to make her final years more comfortable.
I can't believe we're putting stuff in boxes. It just feels like it's ending too quickly.
You're absolutely right. We're not taking this insulting offer. Thank you for keeping me from making huge mistakes, Stella.
For example, maybe her husband only married her out of sympathy, and maybe her dissatisfied parents only stayed together to prevent further emotional strain on Stella. You could mine a lot of brilliant material out of this concept, but Life Sentence wastes it on manipulative and saccharine-sweet platitudes about life and love, all backed by acoustic guitars. It avoids complexity in favor of off-putting sentimentality.
They went through hell, huh?
They did. But you're worth it.
Number 8, Splitting Up Together.
Now that looks like a great show.
Splitting Up Together is an American adaptation of a Danish sitcom about a divorced couple who lives in the same house with their children. Like Life Sentence, a lot of interesting and complex material could be mined for this concept, and the series stars the always adorable Jenna Fisher in the role of the matriarch.
I was just gonna go for a quick run before work.
Cool. I was just gonna do the laundry, vacuum, plunge the upstairs toilet, call a guy about the broken sprinkler, go to work, come home, and make dinner.
However, both the concept and Fisher's talents are wasted on cliched writing. The show is full of stock sitcom characters, and the storylines are trite.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on that.
Newfound jealousy abounds. The couple explores boring freedoms, and the maybe they'll get back together trope quickly rears its ugly head. This concept deserves better.
Okay, seriously, can you play something a little less depressing? I'm going through a divorce here, bud.
Number 7, Our Cartoon President.
We are 1 year into my presidency, and it's time to finally admit I am absolutely crushing it.
Our Cartoon President is a woefully misguided animated sitcom from Stephen Colbert, one of Trump's biggest detractors, based on a recurring segment of his late-night show. In an entertainment landscape full of Trump bashing and critique, an entire show based on the concept of his outlandish White House is just redundant.
Little dumb Donnie Trader Trump does whatever Daddy Putin tells him when he's not having unprotected orgies with porn stars with the shades wide open.
I can't turn it off.
By now, it's safe to say most people have heard all the jokes here 1,000,000 times before. It's just stale, predictable, and recycled humor that works better as short segments and monologue punchlines.
Here's my new Supreme Court Justice. His name is Brett. Isn't that weird?
Number 6, Instinct.
Sorry to bring bad news, but there's been another murder.
Yup, it's another police procedural. Alan Cumming plays Dylan Reinhardt, an author and professor who helps the New York police with a serial killer. But there's a twist. You see, the killer is drawing his morbid inspiration from Reinhardt's book. Gasp.
I know what you're feeling. Gratitude.
Alan Cumming is the sole star of this show. Everything else is so incredibly by the numbers and uninteresting that you may tune out after the very first episode.
Hey, wait a minute!
You've seen these characters, these stories, even these shocking acts of violence 1,000 times before. With Instinct, you know exactly what you're getting into. While many people love them, critics saw it as just another hackneyed procedural.
We don't have any further questions, Detective Needham, do we?
Number 5, American Woman.
Oh my God.
We'd make a stay away from me joke here, but we fear that'd be too easy. American Woman stars the recently elusive Alicia Silverstone as Bonnie Nolan, a woman who leaves her husband amid the wave of feminism that swept America in the 70s.
Driving around, trying to frighten people? Well, you're not frightening me, okay?
This show could have told a complex story about societal constraints and shifting gender and power dynamics. Sure, it would be a little Mad Men, but it would still be interesting.
I don't take orders from you anymore! Are you afraid? You should be. Because your life is never gonna be the same without me.
Instead, the show is full of archetypal characters and blunt, obvious messages about female empowerment. There's no nuance. It simply expects us to cheer solely for telling a progressive story. It's certainly well-intentioned, but painfully flawed.
I'm trying.
Number 4, Alex Inc.
It's the Cadillac of podcast companies. Do people use Cadillac as a reference?
We can't think of a show released this year that wasted so much potential. Alex Inc. had a brilliant story in the chamber. A radio journalist and family man, played by the missed and charming Zach Braff, quits his cushy job and naively tries to start his own podcasting company.
We're the most downloaded podcast in the country.
It's an original concept that could have told a fascinating story. Unfortunately, Braff puts on the JD man-child shtick to frankly unlikable results.
What did I say?
Exactly what I needed to hear.
If audiences don't like or root for Alex, then what's the point? The show is also too sentimental and annoyingly quirky, and the overly sitcom-y jokes are truly awful. What a disappointment.
I'm sure that happens to you all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Number 3, Here and Now.
Why can't you talk about it in front of me?
Because I am my own person who's not you, with my own boundaries and everything.
This is one of those rare HBO swings and misses. Here and Now is an embarrassing mix of This Is Us and Alan Ball's previous show, 6 Feet Under.
That's it? You just made a weird face?
You seem disappointed that you didn't murder or dismember me.
It follows a wholly unlikable and obnoxious family and tries to tackle numerous hot-button topics, including race relations, the destructive political landscape, and gender identities.
I look at the world, and not even the world. Here, now. And all I see is ignorance.
However, this not only muddles the plot and characters, it also gives the show a laughable air of self-importance. It wants to be brilliant social commentary, but just comes across as conceited and overwrought.
We lost, folks. We lost.
Number 2, LA to Vegas.
I need to be on a real airline where people aren't just looking to cheat on their wives and butt smuggle Molly.
LA to Vegas is a workplace comedy produced by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay, the team behind Anchorman, Step Brothers, and Talladega Nights. That's certainly a winning combination, but we don't know if Fox was the right place for it, because it reeks of sitcom cliches.
You know, in 8 months of flying, I think this is the most I've ever heard you talk.
Well, I guess it's because you haven't got me drunk before.
You want another one?
For example, the characters are broad caricatures with no depth or humanity, and the show often resorts to lame jokes about sex and drugs. It was canceled after 15 episodes, and it's not hard to see why.
Too far. I get it. That was too far.
Number 1, Living Biblically.
I've decided to live my life 100% by the Bible, to the letter.
I get that reaction a lot.
We know there's still half a year to go, but Living Biblically is a true contender for the worst show of 2018. The show follows Chip Curry, a film critic who loses his best friend and decides to start living his life according to the Bible. It's a decent idea that is entirely wasted on stock sitcom tropes.
If God had only got perfect people to do stuff, no stuff would have ever got done.
The characters are thinly sketched, every joke is capped by canned guffaws, and the show is so afraid to offend anyone that it just becomes annoying. Living biblically avoids its own promise by adhering to the generic setup, predictable punchline formula.
So, guys, if you could just make my new lifestyle seem as normal to her as possible, that would really help me out tremendously.
We'll try, but you look like Diane Keaton.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.